Hi, Cyndy Scheibe here from Project Look Sharp at Ithaca College. Like you, my colleagues and I have moved entirely to teaching online from home in recent weeks. And in doing so, we've learned a lot about how to engage students through media decoding activities in an online learning environment. We thought we'd share what we learned through a series of demonstration videos. And this one focuses on ways to do asynchronous or preset offline media decoding with students. I'm going to be using Padlet bulletin boards in this example, but the same principles can easily apply to any platform where media examples can be shown with questions and students can provide responses. The examples I'm going to show are from a class with college students, but again, the principles can apply for just about any age group, and they can work with nearly any kind of media example and in any subject area. As we go along, I'm going to identify some basic rules, really pieces of advice, that apply when doing this kind of media decoding in an asynchronous or offline way. And I'll summarize these again at the end of the video. Asynchronous or offline media decoding involves setting up an online platform for students to read, view, or hear a media example, and then respond to questions about it. This can be done during an online class session where each student is working individually, or it can be done outside of class as homework or as an assessment of prior learning. While asynchronous decoding doesn't easily allow you to engage in back and forth probing of student responses, like synchronous or live decoding does, it has the huge advantage of allowing students to participate in the decoding at any time and to take a longer time to come up with their responses. This is particularly important for quieter students who might not be comfortable speaking up in class or as quick to come up with responses to probe questions. So while it will take longer for the decoding to occur, the responses are often deeper and more thoughtful. First, choose a platform that will allow you to upload or paste in your immediate example in a way that it can be easily and clearly seen, heard, or read. Be sure that the file size isn't too large for students to open on their own devices. If it's a still image or a piece of text, make sure that the students can zoom in or increase the size to see details clearly. Second, make sure that your platform will allow you to pose questions and allows all students to be able to respond to those questions in some way, through writing or by recording their responses through video or audio technologies. Also, decide if you want students to see or hear each other's responses, and if you want them to respond directly to each other's comments. That can be done directly on some platforms like Padlet that I'm going to be using, or through a combination of technologies like VoiceThread, Flipgrid, or Poll Everywhere. Before you start, you'll want to provide a written audio or video introduction that frames the activity for the students so they understand the context, including the source of the media example, if that's important, what they're being asked to look or listen for, and how they should respond to the questions, especially if you want them to use specific information or concepts they've already learned. It's also important for them to know roughly how long their responses to each question should be. Now, for any constructivist media decoding, you want to make sure you're not doing the decoding for your students. Instead, ask questions that will engage all the students in the analysis. Make it clear that you want them to give evidence to back up their response, and encourage them to ask their own questions about the media message. Since you're likely to have several questions as part of the decoding, it may seem more efficient to pose all the questions together with the media example. But that can often prevent students from doing a deep reading of the message, finding different aspects than other students have already identified, or building on someone else's responses. So it works better just to pose one question at a time. If you're asking students to respond to each other's comments, be clear about your expectations. It helps to note that you're expecting their comments to enrich the conversation by adding new information, by bringing in a concept from class, or asking a relevant question, and not just saying that they agree with or like what's already been said. And in the beginning, it helps to highlight some examples that do exactly what you're looking for, moving the conversation forward. So give it time. Students will gradually get the hang of it, and their online conversations will become deeper as time goes on. Finally, one of the best things about doing an asynchronous offline media decoding is that it provides good opportunities for students to contribute their own media examples for decoding. This crowdsourcing of media documents is really engaging for students. And by choosing their own questions to pose for that media message, their critical thinking and analysis skills grow to new levels. So just to sum up, here are the main points from the video demonstration of how to lead an asynchronous offline media decoding with students using a bulletin board like Padlet or similar technologies. If you have any questions or suggestions for other ways that we can support you and other educators to do media literacy work with these online formats, please contact us through the Project Look Sharp website. That's also where you'll be able to find more video demonstrations on other aspects of online learning, along with hundreds of free lessons, activities, and resources to integrate media literacy at all grade levels across the curriculum. So that's it for me. Be well, stay safe.